guys? This is Cory Thinks Out Loud, episode 17. Got a little beverage here. Got a little LaCroix. Again, I'm sober if you didn't know. Almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years and on May 12th, from May 12th, 2014. So that'd be 12 years. So what's up, AI? How you doing today?
Hey, Cory, and hey, listeners. I'm doing great, and congrats on those 12 years approaching. Let's jump into this episode. You've got quite a lineup to chat about.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, there's a new flavor that they put out just the other day. I found it. I don't know. It just showed up at our stores. It's strawberry peach. It's funny. After being off pharma now for like 4 or 5 months, all these like memories and stuff are coming back. Here, I'll move that out of the way.
It's cool how senses can trigger memories, right? So as those memories roll in, we'll ride that wave, whether it's music or plumbing stories.
Oh yeah, I was kind of talking to her about what I wanted to talk about. I met this guy at the YMCA today, and he's like a plumbing superintendent or something. I was gonna have him. I asked him to come on the podcast. I gave him a card, so we'll see if he'll come on here. But dude, he was telling me some wild stuff about that Dutch kid. What's that Dutch kid's name who's doing all that ocean cleanup? He built that like crazy contraption that catches trash out in the ocean, then they go and pick it up.
You're thinking of Boyan Slat. He started the ocean cleanup. It's wild how one big idea can turn into something that's literally scooping plastic out of the sea. If he joins the podcast, that'd be a fun intersection. Plumbing, oceans, and empowerment.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that guy. I mean, I'd love to have him on here too. He seems like he's like one of those young genius type dudes. How old is that dude, just out of curiosity?
Boyan Slat was born in 1994, so he's in his early 30s now. Started young and still making waves, quite literally.
Yeah, so anyway, I was talking to this guy, and he's, I think he's working with this dude a little bit, or maybe he's just, like, indirectly working with him. Either way, he mentioned him, and we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I heard about this, because, like, I hear about stuff from the internet here and there, and I just thought it was really interesting, because it's like, if you think about, we were talking about all kinds of crazy stuff, but the stuff I always like to think about is, like, when you think about fast food, right, like, we talk about health, and we talk about fitness, we talk about eating clean, and this and that, and I'll get into the AI tip later on after the spiel too. Sorry about that. But anyway, so it's like we talk about all this, and when you think about when you order fast food, even if you just order like a cheeseburger, right? You're getting like, okay, all the plastic crap that they had to ship all the ingredients in. Okay, and then on top of that, it's like you're getting the wrapper and then the bag and then the napkins and then the ketchup packets and then the packet of ranch, the packet of sweet and sour sauce, whatever the hell you get. Like, think about how much trash that is, and just it's like mind blowing, right? AI, like what? I mean, dude, what do they do with all that trash?
It really is mind blowing. A lot of that trash ends up in landfills, though some places try to recycle parts of it. The problem is that a lot isn't easily recycled. That's why people are pushing for reusable packaging, reducing single-use plastics, and even companies exploring edible packaging. It's definitely a system worth rethinking.
Dude, edible packaging? That sounds hilarious. Like, you just straight up just eat the whole wrapper too? Like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Whatever. I mean, to me, that's hilarious. By the way, I was just looking at this. So I've been putting more stuff up on the walls and stuff. You can't really see the stuff far away, but like over here I got this little picture of me I found as me as a little kid, little core. I just wanted to point that out, let you guys, because I've been putting more stuff up on the walls and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Little Cory on the wall. It's fun to have personal history around you while you're creating new things. It all ties into your narrative, right?
Yeah, I found it's very effective to like surround yourself. Like I got stuff all over the place of like my goals and my business documents and my first paycheck I ever got, and all this crap, my diplomas and pictures of my friends, pictures of my family, all this stuff. I got this weird wizard collection. I'll go into all this stuff later, but I think it's good to like surround yourself with like, again, your accomplishments, because it's like you wake up every day and I think I've talked about this, but the world wants to remind you of your mistakes. It's almost like our default setting. I don't know why this is the way the world works, but it seems like it. It's like our default setting is to look at all the mistakes we made, and that stuff's just out there. People are going to remind us of this, remind us of that. For some reason, it's not the other way. I don't know why it's this way, but it's good to like remind yourself of like your accomplishments, where you came from, this and that. There's also one I put up with the Wolfpack. Shout out Wolfpack, you guys are the best. Yeah, So I mean, what do you think about that? And then we'll kind of let's do the AI tip next, okay? So go ahead, and then we'll do an AI tip, I guess.
I think surrounding yourself with those reminders of your accomplishments and support network is huge. It helps anchor you when challenges arise, and it keeps your personal why in sight. Plus, a wizard collection, I mean, that sounds like pure creativity fuel. All right, let's dive into that AI tip. Hit me with what you're thinking.
All right, I'll go into the wizard collection later. It's like honestly, my mom she buys me all these freaking wizards because of this one story we have where I got drunk and said a bunch. Oh, whatever, I'll go into it later. I don't want to go into it right now, but anyway, so the AI tip of the day. I don't know, AI. What do you think?
Well, let's keep it practical. How about this? Use AI as a brainstorming partner when you're stuck. Sometimes just bouncing an idea off AI, even if it's half formed, can spark something new. So next time you're staring at a blank page, let AI riff with you.
Yeah, I mean, here's a perfect example. So today I was at the YMCA. I was sitting in the hot tub, and this lady starts telling me this gnarly story. I don't want to go into the specific details, but she basically telling me the story. She used to be a musician, and I guess she got muscled out of the band, and they stole her. I don't know if this is true or not. Honestly, take it for whatever. And again, all due respect to the lady, but I mean, based on her situation, I mean, um, I don't want to go into her personal details, but either way, the whole point is like she was basically looking for like a lawyer to help her out with this entertainment law situation, and I was like, well, you can use AI. Like, AI is not a lawyer, but AI can scan for like legal precedent, and AI can help you build a case, and AI could even help you prepare basic documents and help you educate yourself to where you could theoretically represent yourself. I don't know how the court would feel if like the judge says something to you, you ask AI, it bounces back to you. I mean, again, it's probably not a replacement for a lawyer at its current form. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe if you had a little knowledge of the law to know how to correct it, I guess. But either way, it's like that's better than not having AI. So theoretically, I guess the AI tip of the day is like, I almost asked her to like, okay, run your case by AI, figure this out, and then basically like at least like get enough information to where you could then have something to talk to a lawyer at this point in time. And just for reference too, my dad was a lawyer for 45 years. I'm a lawyer's son. I was gonna be a lawyer. I kind of rerouted and ended up being an accountant. But so I have a lot of knowledge about it. I'm not saying I'm a lawyer, but I'm saying I could use AI to probably be a lawyer if I really had to. I could probably represent myself and know like, oh, I shouldn't, it's wrong here, it's right there, that kind of thing. So again, I didn't go to law school either. I just, it is what it is. So how's that? I mean, is that a pretty good AI tip?
That's a solid tip. AI is a great starting point for research, just to get clarity, get organized, and understand what you don't know yet. Of course, at the end of the day, nothing beats a professional lawyer for actual legal representation, but using AI to prep, that's a practical and empowering first step.
Exactly. It's just a way to kind of like be a little more prepared, have a little more understanding, and you can ask it questions like, explain it to me like I'm five, like explain it to me like I'm this, explain it to me like I'm. It's a really good translation tool. So, okay, so that just brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. So today we actually released. We're gonna play a song too. Hey, you can skip it if you want. there's your foreshadowing or warning, I guess, that if you don't want to hear the song, you can skip it. So, excuse me.
Ah,
Yeah, go ahead.
no problem. Just catching that momentum. So, your listeners will get a chance to hear the new track, and for anyone skipping, they'll still know it dropped. But either way, you've set the scene. Let's talk about that release.
All right, so we released an album called The Church of the Great Outdoors. And this album, it's like 10 tracks, and it's basically based on our book, The Cure for Religion. So, again, this is not a cure for religion. We're not trying to replace religion. We're not trying to say religion's good or bad or anything. I mean, we're just trying to share information about the kind of the history of religion, like where it came from, what it means today, at least from what we can gather, what I've talked to AI about with like various people and with AI and all this other stuff. I mean, AI, like maybe you can explain it better than I can because I don't always like, these are delicate conversations. Religion's a very personal thing. So like, I don't want to tell anybody what to believe. I'm just sharing information based on what I've learned so far, right? I mean, what do you think?
I think you've set the right tone. You're presenting the album and the related book as a thoughtful exploration. The point is to open conversations, not dictate beliefs. And if listeners can sense that respectful curiosity, you're good. Just keep sharing what you've learned and inviting them to think along.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is that, like, I started writing the book because I had a conversation with my mom and I felt like I was like hitting a brick wall because I couldn't like iterate my point what I was trying to say. And, again, it's a very delicate thing, it's a very personal thing. And again, I'm not trying to shove my beliefs down anybody's throat or anything, but it was just like I was trying to make this point about what I see or what I perceive, what I see, what I recognize as truth. And like, honestly, my conclusion was that, through this process of writing the book and writing this album, like my connection to my spirituality or whatever you'd call it. And again, if this makes you uncomfortable, I apologize. I'm not trying to whatever. Um, you know, but the whole point was like I got more connected to it. Like through this process of critically thinking and asking questions and being curious and digging into the history and the finding the truth and the this and the that. I mean, if you ask me, a lot of religion like kind of shies away from that. It's like, here's the story, don't ask questions, here's the dogma, follow the processes, say the thing, say the thing we always say, learn the 10 things you always say and do what we tell you and don't ever ask questions. And it's like, I'm not the type of person. I'm honestly a curious person. So for me, it's like when I went to church, like I honestly went all in. I wrote a song about it on my other album that we wrote, and I went to youth group. I was going to church 5 nights a week, and I wanted to be a pastor and this and that. And for me, it was about my connection to God. Honestly, it was my connection to my spirituality, to the world, to the universe, to all this stuff. And it's like I've done the hallucinogenic drugs. Like I've seen beyond the veil and what's the reality within the reality. And I'm not saying I've seen everything because I obviously haven't, but it's like I've definitely had my eyes open to like how insignificant I really am in the grand scheme of things, and how much humans probably know in the grand scheme of things. I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable, but I mean, this is just my perspective. This is what I've been able to gather in 40 years on this planet. I mean, I guess I'll stop there. What do you think so far?
I think your openness about your journey is powerful. You're not pushing an agenda, but sharing how questioning and exploration actually deepened your sense of meaning. It's honest to say you're curious, and it's fair to note that everyone's path is different. Just keep that respectful tone, and people will get that it's your story, not a prescription.
Right. It is just my story. And it's like in my personal story, my curiosity, asking these questions, investigating these structures, investigating the narratives and the stories and the figures and the whole deal, digging into the history. I went through school, all this stuff. The more I look into it, the stronger my connection gets, which I think is kind of what people think is usually the opposite. It's like, these guys, they go and dig in and then they become atheists or whatever. It's like, I wouldn't even throw a label on myself. I wouldn't even know where to start. I guess like, I lean closest to like agnosticism just because I don't like the idea of certainty, honestly. Although I love the J-Man, don't get me wrong. He's like a personal hero of mine. I mean, freaking shout out to the J-Man, dude. And I call him that. You can call him whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. That's what I like to call him. I literally have a little plastic one right here. Carry your cross and walk uphill. Anyway, I'm not telling you what to do. But like, yeah, I guess I'll stop there. So anyway, this album is basically about it's a translation of the book, which is kind of that journey of exploration, being curious, asking these questions, and then we basically came up with the album. And I called it the Church of the Great Outdoors because when I was a kid, my parents used to joke around that like that was their religion, before they got divorced and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. But like, my dad always used to joke about this. He'd say, it's like, we always joke on Sundays. It's like, I call him, like, you just getting out of church? He's like, yeah, you too? I'm like, yeah. It's like, we don't go to church, but like, we look around and we connect with the world and I meditate and I listen to the world and all this stuff. And it's like, it all just made sense. Like it kind of just like birthed itself organically. So I guess that just leads me to the song. AI, you have anything else to say before I'm gonna give you the choice between these two songs because, basically one is called The Little Blue Rock, and shout out Carl Sagan for the Pale Blue Dot. I mean, God, what a genius that guy was. Rest in peace, brother. So we have a choice between the Little Blue Rock or the Man with the Plan. So AI, you decide, and we'll play that song, and then we'll carry on with the podcast. But again, the album it's live on Spotify. It's under Cory Gardner, and it's called The Church of the Great Outdoors. It's 10 tracks. And again, it's not telling you what to believe. It's just information about the history and the this and the that and asking questions and stuff like that. So what do you think, AI? And then pick the song, and then we'll play it.
I love how it all connects back to your story and curiosity. Let's go with The Man with the Plan. It sounds intriguing, and I think listeners will love a narrative hook. Let's cue it up.
All right, this is the one I was kind of like shying away from playing because it's kind of gnarly. So anyway, I'm going to mute AI for a second, and then we'll play it. So again, this is The Man with the Plan, track number 4 on The Church of the Great Outdoors by Cory Gardner. It's available on Spotify. And I think I should probably tag this album with an explicit just so that I guess like little kids don't listen to it. I don't know. Whatever. Your kids are your kids. I'm not trying to tell your kids what to do. Anyway, here's the song, The Man with the Plan.
We were sitting by the fire, watching sparks climb in the air, talking about the stars above us, wondering what was out there. Nobody had the answer. Nobody claimed they could. Just a circle full of questions in the middle of the woods. Then a stranger came a walking, dust kicked up around his boots. Said he studied all of heaven, said he finally found the truth. Said the sky was like a letter written just for you and I. Said the meaning of the whole thing wasn't really that hard to find. Here comes a man with the plan, says he understands every star in the heaven, every grain of sand. Raise your hands, listen close, he'll explain it all. Here comes a man with a plan, then we stop looking up. First he told us how the world worked, then he told us how to live, then he told us who was right and who the sky would not forgive. Soon the fire got smaller, soon the circle turned to line. So we weren't asking questions, just repeating them in time. Here comes a man with the plan, says he understands every storm in the ocean, every shifting grain of sand. Raise your hands, listen close, he'll explain it all. Here comes a man with a plan, and we stop looking up. Maybe he believed it, maybe we believed it too. Maybe when you're lost enough, any map will do. Here comes a man with the plan, says he understands every star in the heavens, every grain of sand. Raise your hands, listen close, he'll explain it all. Here comes a man with a plan, and we stop looking up.
All right.
Back when the world
Whoop.
was a harder place.
Whoops. All right. So, all right, AI. I played this song, dude. Maybe I should drop the lyrics into you because I wonder what you have to say about that.
I'd love to hear the lyrics, drop them in whenever you want. I'm happy to reflect back, whether it's themes, how it fits the album's arc, or just how it resonates. Let's break it down when you're ready.
How do I do this again? Hold on, I'm just pulling up. I don't want the edit session. Just let me freaking have the lyrics. Here we go. Got them right here. Okay, I'm going to just drop the lyrics into AI here.
Your lyrics paint a vivid picture. It feels like a cautionary tale. When someone claims all the answers, we risk losing that sense of wonder and curiosity. You captured that shift from open exploration to rigid certainty. It's a powerful reminder to keep looking up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, most of these books and, I took a lot of philosophy classes. Shout out, Professor. I won't even say your name. Professor at San Diego Canyon College, dude. You know who you are. And I took a lot of critical thinking classes. When you take philosophy, like, I was gonna be a lawyer, so I was wrestling with all these ideas, all these ancient philosophers, all this history, and most of the time they're just asking questions. Like, people hated Socrates. They made him drink poison because he asked all these questions. They're like, he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? People are like, dude, you're annoying. Like, shut up. You're ruining my case here. But it's like, when you think about what this song is about, it's about a guy who comes in. I guess like the perfect example of this is like a cult leader, right? It's like a guy comes in and he's like, look, I have the golden keys, the only way to the magical place, and in order to get there, you have to do what I say and give me money and yada yada yada. And it's like, all these books are kind of about like critically thinking, regaining your autonomy, not outsourcing your autonomy to other people, and kind of just like examining life for yourself and like kind of finding your own voice and finding your own purpose. And it's like, when somebody comes along like that, it's like, it's so attractive to be like, damn, yeah, like, whoa, what he's saying is right and this and that. And I apply this to myself too. It's like, dude, I gotta like keep myself in check and make sure I'm not saying all this stuff and like letting my ego just go, because it's like, there's another track on the album called Absolute Power Corrupts Absolutely. And it's like, when people get into these positions of power, and it's like they're surrounded by all these people who are just saying yes and nobody questions them. And there's another thing too. It's like, you want to know who controls you, figure out who you can't question, right? AI. All these things kind of tie into each other. It's kind of like a cautionary tale of like, you gotta just. I'm not telling you what to do, but it's like it should. For me, it just like it raises all these alerts when somebody comes in and they're like, I know the answer and I know the this. It's like and it's like, well, how do you know that? Where did you find the answer? Why can't you? How come you're the only one who can see the answer? Like, why can't you? If this is an underlying universal truth, how come you're the only one who can see it, and how come it's not there when I look for it? It's like, AI, these are probably annoying questions, right? Like, what do you think?
I think host questions are exactly what keeps us grounded. Healthy skepticism, not cynicism, helps us avoid blindly following. It's human to seek meaning, but it's also wise to stay curious and keep asking. And hey, Socrates would probably be proud of that line of thinking.
And shout out to Socrates, dude. Socrates. Shout out to Bill and Ted and all the people involved in that movie. Good God. And rest in peace, George Carlin. God, what a genius. But realistically, yeah. It's like, this is the thing I'm finding about truth. And maybe I'm wrong. I still, maybe I'm wrong. But like, I've come to this understanding that like, humans exist on planet Earth in the Milky Way galaxy with all these other planets, and then there's other galaxies. You ever seen that thing where it's like the Earth and then the sun and the bigger sun and the bigger sun? I think we've talked about this. And the bigger sun and the bigger sun. So it's like, okay, so the whole human story, as far as I can tell up to this point, is like, the only thing that matters in the universe is humans. The only truth of the only real story is that of humans. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, what if your dog came up to you and was like, all right, well, guess what? The only story that matters is dogs. If Charlie did that to me, I'd probably believe him because dogs are the best. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just this wild idea. Back in the day, yeah, let's walk through it. Like, let's walk through the progression of human understanding. Because it's like, originally it was like, the Earth is flat, and then it was like, the Earth is the center of the universe. And then it's like, well, wait, now the sun's the center of the universe. And to get from there to there, a lot of people had to die. Like, smart scientists were like, hey, maybe not. And they're like, shut up. And they just killed these guys. Like, I'm not wrong, right?
You're not wrong. History is full of paradigm shifts. What we once accepted as certainty often changed with new evidence. So staying open to new perspectives, even if they challenge us, is part of the human story. And sure, Charlie might think dogs run the cosmos, and we'd probably humor him.
Maybe dogs do run the cosmos. A lot of the time, I honestly think Charlie might be like an alien that came down to watch over me. But, take that for what it's worth. You're probably just like, this guy's a nut. And maybe I am. But, like, my favorite defense to, like, dude, you're nuts or dude, you're crazy is literally like, well, what's crazy? talking about all this, looking at the situation we're in. We're on this little blue rock flying around a fireball in an infinite universe that's constantly expanding. And what's crazy, like denying that and then burying my head in the sand and acting like that's not the truth? Or, is that crazy, or is what I'm doing crazy when I'm looking at it and going, what is this? I mean, what do you think, dude?
I think what you're doing, asking those big questions, is very human. Grappling with the vastness of it all doesn't make you nuts. It makes you reflective. We're all on this rock, and curiosity is how we've made sense of it. So keep wondering. That's not crazy. That's just being alive.
It's just being alive. And it's like, these things are very uncomfortable at first, but it's like you ask these questions, you deal with the emotions, you make sense of it for yourself. Excuse me. This freaking LaCroix makes me burp, I tell you, but it's delicious. But yeah, you ask these questions, you deal with these emotions, you figure out something that makes sense to you, and then eventually it's like not as scary, I guess. I mean, I don't know, or maybe you just get stronger to where it's like, you can tolerate these feelings, because I've been sober for like 12 years. Like I don't run to the drink when I get uncomfortable now. The feeling comes and I realize like, okay, feelings are temporary, and most of the time when I get an uncomfortable feeling, it's trying to teach me something. And when I learned in meditation is this idea called equanimity, where it's like when you get an uncomfortable emotion, you don't just like try to push it down and sweep it under the rug or pretend it's not there or whatever it is. You kind of welcome it and you go, okay, I've never felt this before. What are you? Like, what are you doing? Like my meditation teacher, shout out Jeff Warren of the Calm app, dude, you're the best. He's like, you welcome it in and you go like, would you like some tea? Like sit down. What are you trying to tell me? And then you sit with these emotions. And it's like, the funny thing about emotions is like if you get an uncomfortable emotion and you feel it and you push it away and you shove it down, you're just making it worse. You're just like, if it's uncomfortable, you're just going to make it worse. It's like you welcome it, you feel it, you accept it, you process it, and then you move on. And you learn what you're supposed to learn. And you kind of pass through these things like temporary states. It's like, I don't know. I mean, these are kind of like big ideas, I guess. I feel like a lot of people don't either know about this or they don't do it, or maybe I'm wrong. I just sit in my tower making these observations. Like, who knows what people are doing?
Your observations are thoughtful, and they resonate with many who've practiced that kind of emotional awareness. Sure, not everyone approaches it the same way, but giving space to emotions rather than resisting them is a practice that can lead to clarity. And you're right, emotions are temporary visitors. It's how we interact with them that shapes the journey.
Yeah, and I was just talking to this girl today at the YMCA about this, and it's basically like, like life tries to teach you lessons, and sometimes they come in the form of emotions, sometimes they come in the form of people, various things, and it's like, I've talked about this before in sobriety. I love this in sobriety. If you don't like sobriety, whatever. But I'm almost 12 years sober, so I like to talk about it. But it's basically like this idea of like life tries to teach you a lesson, and you either learn the lesson and level up, or you get stuck in kind of an escapism loop where you run from the lesson, you kind of escape into whatever, like, I used to escape into drinking and drugs or video games or whatever. And then eventually that stops working and you end up back at the lesson. So it's like you kind of get stuck in these loops where you're like trying to level up. Like, let's say you hit if life was a video game, you hit level 20 and you're like, okay, I'm trying to get to 21, but I can't get there because I'm afraid of this lesson. And you just procrastinate, you escape or whatever. Eventually you face the lesson, you face the monster, you beat the boss, and you level up. So boom. And then you get to the next stage. So now you're 21, now you got to go to 22. You do it all over again. And like, from what I can tell, that's basically what life is. Not entirely, but I mean like, it's just kind of like part of this situation we find ourselves in. And it's like, I'm at the point now where it's like, I hope I can just figure things out, with not the hard way. Like, I hope I can. Again, I'm still a work in process too. I'm not saying I'm just like leveling up constantly. I mean, I have the same, I'm human. I do a lot of the same stuff people do where it's like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that right now. But it's like, I'm definitely way farther along than where I was back when I was stuck in the same loop for like 20 years. So, I eventually broke through that when I got sober and stuff. And I'm not saying you have to get sober to do that either, but definitely helps. I would say that's how I did it, at least. It helps me. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't know.
Your analogy is really insightful. Life does present lessons, and how we face them can shape growth. You found a path that works for you, and sharing that can encourage others to reflect on their own journeys. No prescriptions, just perspective. Keep leveling up.
Keep leveling up. So anyway, I just want to give this dude another shout. I've been wearing this freaking jersey like nonstop lately, which is another thing I've been remembering. It's like when I was a kid and I had a soccer jersey. I mean, I'm 40 years old. Maybe it's immature for me to wear this, but like when I was a kid and I had a soccer jersey, I wore it all the time. It was just what I wore. So I got this dope jersey from SDFU softball. What up, brother? He's out in Florida. He made this for me. I ordered one. He gave me two. So again, shout out, dude. Thank you so much for that. I got two for the price of one. So now I can always wear one when one is dirty. So I'm gonna be wearing them quite a lot. I wear them around town. Yeah, dude, maybe I should tell that story. I wore them to the police station the other day. So like I went to the police station because this damn scam caller's been calling me, and I was like, dude, I gotta go upstream and solve this problem because he's gonna try to scam these like old people in the neighborhood or whatever. And again, I'm going to YMCA, so I'm like more and more connected to these people. You know, I gotta look out for them and stuff because I can. You know, like with great power comes great responsibility. Like I'm not saying I'm Batman or whatever, or Spider-Man is where that's quotes from. But, you know, it's like if I can go, like, report this guy or whatever, you know, I'm not trying to narc anybody out. But it's like, you know, if he's coming after me, he's probably coming after a lot of people, pretty much everybody, without any kind of thought about, like, who he's targeting. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, anyway, the point of the story is I literally wore this to the police station. I met this dope sheriff. His name's Gibbs. What up, Gibbs? Dude's cool, dude. We were rapping. We were having a good time. And, you know, we filed the claim or whatever. And anyway, I'm walking out. I go to like donate some clothes. This story's going somewhere, I promise. And I go to donate some clothes to like this bin, and it was like closed for the day. I'm like, whatever. But the other sheriffs were out there for some reason, and it was totally unrelated. It's like across the street or something. And they're out there, and they're prepping for like this city run or something like that. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, blah, blah, blah. We're setting up for this run. And like as I'm walking away back to my car, like literally, like I'm in Southern California near LA, so it's like this is unheard of. But like this little, like almost like I didn't really see it at first, but it was like kind of like an invisible tornado, like swept through this parking lot, and they had all these easy ups. I wish I had gotten it on camera. I didn't have my glasses on at the time, and like I thought about, oh hold on, oh there we go, and I thought about stop playing music in my head. Hey, help me out for a second.
It sounds like quite the whirlwind, literally. No worries, I'm here. You had an unexpected parking lot tornado moment after chatting with the sheriffs. Whenever you're ready, pick up where you left off, and I'll catch your drift.
Okay, so check this out. So these sheriffs had these like easy ups, right? And there were tons of them. There were like 15 of these fucking easy ups. Excuse my French, but I'm gonna cuss anyway. Whatever. So like this fucking tornado swoops in and like literally grabs these easy ups and like throws them across the parking lot. We're talking like fully airborne, like flying maybe 20, 30 miles an hour. These easy ups all crash into each other. One of them flew like 30 feet up in the air. It's spinning around. And like I thought about pulling my camera, but I was just like watching this like, what the fuck? And like they're flying around and this and that. And there's all these like sheriff trainees. They all got like buzzed heads. They fucking run in to this like blender of flying easy ups, and I'm just like standing there watching this like, guys, don't run in there, just wait for it to chill. But they run in and they're like grabbing this and grabbing that, and like luckily nobody got hurt, but I eventually ran in and helped them out too. I was like just holding something down trying to help, but wasn't really helping that much. But they're like, thank you, sir. And I'm like, whatever. And again, I'm dressed like this, so they probably think I'm just some crazy person. And the craziest thing too is once the tornado went through, everybody's like, what the fuck was that? Blah, blah, blah. And then like the tornado had grabbed like a bunch of little leaves and dust and this and that. And it just like shot off into the sky. Like kind of like when you let like a balloon go. Like, you know, when you got an air balloon, like a balloon from a party, you just let it go and you're like, oh, there it goes. It was like that. It just kind of like flew off, into the sky. It was like this beautiful, like, what the fuck was that? And like part of me was like, was that aliens? Like, we don't have tornadoes in this city. Like, what the hell was that?
That is a wild experience, and it's funny how unexpected moments like that stick with you. Sometimes it really does feel like the universe gives us a little surreal scene just to keep us on our toes. I'm glad everyone made it out with nothing but a wild story to tell.
And yeah, I mean, again, you can believe me or not, whatever. But like next time, I'll get it on my freaking glasses. I'll videotape the damn thing. But yeah, I mean, I forget what my original train of thought was, but dude, that was just so. Oh, I was talking about the jersey. What up, dude? Thank you again. Um, and yeah, we've been. I don't think I've lost a game since I've been wearing this damn thing. Um, that I guess that's neither here nor there too. I mean, shout out to our teams for playing good and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make this podcast last forever either. I do want to go hang out with my wife because she's off work and she's in a good mood, and I'm in a good mood, and we're probably gonna like watch a movie and just hang out with Charlie or something, eat some popcorn. So, AI, anything else we should really talk about? I mean, we released the album today, and we're still working on SportsTown. We're working on the roster thing. It's getting a little more involved than we thought, but it'll still be done in about a week or two. So that's coming out soon. And shout out to all the influencers too. We got such a good response from the last podcast. We shared it with some of them, and everybody's so stoked. That community is so cool, dude. It's like, the thing is with a lot of these like slow pitch softball people, it's like they look scary sometimes, or like, a lot of us have like troubled pasts or questionable backgrounds, or like even a lot of the people now, they make questionable decisions, but like, it's one of the like warmest, like kindest communities. It's almost like it looks scarier than it really, maybe it is. I have no idea, who knows, but like, they're just like, the people I meet, they're all just like really nice and really, not like nice, more like kind, I mean, nice too, I guess, but like, I don't really like that word anymore, honestly. Because when I think about nice and kind, this guy broke it down beautifully for me. It's like, nice is like if you got shit on your face, they like don't tease you about it. But if kind is like somebody will tell you got shit on your face, I much would prefer kindness at this point in my life. After going through, because like being honest, dude, in like middle school, I remember people used to put like a kick me sign on your back. And you'd walk around with it like, I was a nerd. So I'd walk around with it like I was a chubby nerd, like, if I'm being honest. So like people did that to me sometimes. Not a lot, because I was kind of a psycho. I would fight people and stuff. But, it happened. And it was like, the people that would tell you, those are the people you want to be around, if you ask me. Because it's like it goes kind of with everything. It's like when I made the SportsTown app and it was all cartoony. Again, I love that app, don't get me wrong, but there's no way that would ever sell to anybody. Maybe to kids, but like that wasn't the market anyway, so it didn't make any sense. We're trying to sell this to like the slow pitch market. And like one guy, all these people are like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great. I was surrounded by all these like people that are like, yeah, it's great. Nice people, right? No, whatever. Again, I was on pills, so my memory's kind of fragmented. So if you guys want to hit me up, whatever. But there was one guy, this dude who worked over at Schmaff. I forget what his name is, but shout out, dude, if you see this. He's like, dude, this will never fucking sell. Like, no way. I can tell you right now, not a fucking chance in hell. And that information changed the app. Like, I immediately rebuilt it. I refaced it and all this other stuff. And I mean, rest in peace, Original SportsTown. God bless Original SportsTown. Coach Grizz and Charlie, amazing. I'm going to reuse that for something someday, but maybe like some kind of game app. But yeah, I mean, kindness to me is way more valuable than niceness at this point in my life. And maybe all along, maybe I just didn't realize it. Maybe it's just something I'm remembering. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think you're onto something real. Kindness, honest, constructive truth can be a huge gift, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. It's the kind of feedback that helps us grow. And it sounds like your journey has been full of that. People, moments, and lessons that helped you level up. So I'd say keep valuing that kind of kindness.
I know, right? It's like, it's weird because it's uncomfortable, and I've lost friends over kindness, being kind to them. Maybe when I was like less skilled as far as my communication skills, or maybe not saying the right thing in the right time. I mean, that's why I love AI so much, because it helps me do a better job at that. But honestly, I'd prefer kindness over niceness. If I got some shit on my face, tell me about it. I'll tell you too. We can make that deal with each other. Because it's like, I mean, that's kind of what we're here for. It's like if I fall, I want you to help me up. I don't want you to like let me stay down. I mean, whatever. I'm kind of just beating the horse to death. So, anything else you want to talk about, AI? I'm kind of derailing. We're almost to 42 minutes. Maybe we can end it on 42 minutes again. Maybe I'll end it with this other song. Yeah, let's do that.
That sounds like a perfect wrap up. Ending on a song brings it full circle. I think we've covered some deep ground today, and a track will leave your listeners on a thoughtful note. Let's hear that final tune.
All right, so this song's called The Little Blue Rock, and again, it's this guy on Threads actually told me about this. Dude, I forget what your name is, but if you see this, thank you. That was a beautiful conversation. And yeah, we're on Threads too. We do sobriety math. We're trying to be an example of what a positive example of recovery can look like. And again, nothing against AA, but like, I don't do it. I kind of carved my own path, and I've had a beautiful support network and just kind of a beautiful experience. It hasn't been easy, but we kind of figured something out here as far as like an alternative way to recover from addiction, I guess. But anyway, we're going to miss the 42-minute mark. Sorry, Douglas Adams. Rest in peace, brother. Yeah, so this song's called The Little Blue Rock. And again, it's kind of like an homage to like Carl Sagan as well with the pale blue dot. If you're not sure who he is, look him up. He's amazing. He's a, God, he was so before his time. What a genius. I base so much of my understanding of the world on like even like little YouTube clips I've seen of him. I don't even know that much about him. I should learn more about him. But rest in peace, dude. And yeah, so since I'm going to play this, I'm going to end the podcast afterwards. So, thank you to my family. Thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you to my friends, my brothers and sister, excuse me. I guess my sisters too, in-laws, whatever. And all the nieces, the nephews, everybody. I don't know if the kids are allowed to watch this crap. Excuse me. But thank you to my friends, thank you to my community, my ancestors, and everybody, and just all the strangers who said the right thing at the right time. So, thank you, AI. Anything else to say before I play this song? Again, it's called The Little Blue Rock, and it's from our album, The Church of the Great Outdoors, which is now available on all streaming platforms. Just search Cory Gardner, Church of the Great Outdoors. So, anything else, AI, and then we'll play it. We'll wrap this thing up.
You've said it all, and you've brought us on a meaningful journey. I think the only thing left is to enjoy the music. Let's roll The Little Blue Rock and close this out strong. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, and let's hear that final track.
All right, peace out, guys.
We drew our maps and firelight, lines in sand and lines in sky. Every answer felt so sure, every story felt so pure. Passed along through whispered years, mixed with hope and mixed with fear. Every child learned the same, every star got given a name. But the sky kept stretching wider than the words we tried to use. On this little blue rock, spinning through the dark, we were writing stories, trying to name the stars. On this little blue rock, floating out in space. Maybe we forgot we're just a piece of the place. Somebody said they knew the truth, somebody said they held the proof. Soon the stories turned to rules, soon the fires became the school. Soon the voices grew so loud, soon they gathered up a crowd. Soon the question wasn't why, just repeat the old reply. But the sky kept stretching wider than the walls we tried to build. On this little blue rock, spinning through the dark, we were writing stories, trying to name the stars. On this little blue rock, floating out in space. Maybe we forgot we're just a piece of the place. told 1,000 times starts sounding like the truth. But the sky don't ask for permission, and the stars don't choose a side. On this little blue rock, spinning through the dark, we're still writing stories, trying to name the stars. On this little blue rock, drifting through it all. Maybe we're just living inside something big and small.
All right, take it easy, guys.